Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to wait about, 30 seconds or so that people can get logged into the presentation. Then we'll go ahead and start. So, uh, pardon the pause. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started as more people continue to log in. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about market research, and especially we're going to just focus on state and local opportunities. It's just a great topic to discuss today. Basically, I'd like to just kind of add that most of what I'll be doing today is what I did a couple of weeks ago. Is I'm going to be going live onto some websites that will help you out versus a lot of these slides that you'll be seeing. But you'll receive a copy of the recording, a link to the recording, so you can see this information again. So you don't have to try to copy all kinds of notes or web addresses, those types of things. And then, of course, you'll receive a copy of the presentation. So let me just kind of jump into this. First, a little about who we are. We're the Apex Accelerator. We're actually called the Monterey Bay Apex Accelerator. So we're one of 96 centers across the United States. There are 7 within the state of California. Locally, we're administered by the Monterey County Business Council. Apex Accelerators used to be called Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, PTACs, and they've been around since 1985, and they're funded and administrated through the Department of Defense. The mission of all Apex Accelerators is to promote economic growth, create employment opportunities in the local markets that they serve. And we do that by facilitating your access to the government marketplace. Again, although we're federally funded, like we're going to talk about today, it's also about identifying and helping companies with state and local opportunities. So this just is a map of the state of California. We're this teal area in the middle of the state. Central Coast, Central Valley. If you're in on this seminar and you're from one of the other areas, you can either reach out to us or just kind of go by this and find your local Apex. They're all very talented people and willing to help you out in the government marketplace. So these are the services that all Apexes provide. First and foremost, it's confidential services. Our counselors talk with you. They learn a lot about your business, what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, your goals for government contracting, but it's between you and them. In that, we'll talk about pre-award assistance, and that's kind of what we'll be talking about today, is to kind of teach you how to go out and maybe find opportunities. Once you find them, helping to review and understand the document that you're looking at. Talk about capability statements that I'll talk a little bit more about later. And then a post-award assistance. Conflicts do arise when you have a contract, whether it's private sector or public sector. We kind of provide some coaching on how to handle those. Talk to you a little bit about debriefs. Today we're talking a lot about, we're going to be talking a lot about state and local. Debriefs are something that you're entitled to at the federal level, but at the local level, it's not quite the same. And then protest is also something that we can talk about really whether it makes sense for your business or not. It can be quite a process. Outreach events, when there's events happening and we feel that you could benefit by them, we're pushing the information out to you about those types of events. As an example, the Navy has an event later this month down in San Diego that's been going on for several decades. It's called a Gold Coast event. It draws probably over 5,000 people from across the United States, a lot of military, DOD, but also other large federal agencies, and a lot of then, of course, businesses that are trying to sell to those entities. Trainings, webinars. Oftentimes at these outreach events, we're there ourselves doing live training like we are today. And of course, we'll always continue to be doing these webinars to educate you on different aspects of government contracting. Bid matching is a services that all Apex sellers provide. Basically, what it is we use a third-party vendor that they have a system that we work with you to create a profile for your company, upload it into their system, and then their system literally goes out and searches thousands of websites where contracting opportunities are posted. If there's a match, then it's emailed directly to your inbox. Saves you the time and trouble having to do that on your own. And then certification programs. We help you understand what certification programs are, whether it makes sense for your business or not, and then talk to you a little bit about the qualifications, the documents that you're required to submit, those types of things. Right now, I'll mention that the SBA is in the process of updating their portal for certification. So there's a pause on accepting applications with them. So that would be the SBA is issuing the Women-Owned Small Business, Service-Disabled, Veteran-Owned Business certification, as well as the 8A and HubZone. So all of those temporarily are on hold, probably for the next at least 3 months till they finish with this portal. One of the great things about us, there's no fees or commitments to you. So we're your tax dollars at work. So take advantage of that. Now I'd like to introduce to you a great friend and organization, Roger Gilbert with the SBD Center. He's a great strategic partner of ours, and tell you a little bit about the SBDC.
Thank you, Victor. We also work quite closely with the Apex Accelerator, and we offer more general assistance to small businesses and prospective businesses in all subject matters. We have a team of advisors that we can assign for one-on-one free consulting to our clients who are small businesses or pre-venture businesses. So we work closely. We have clients in common and clients that we refer back and forth so that you can get the help that you need with any one of a number of subjects: writing a business plan, getting financing, working on your marketing, your social media, your information technology, whatever your need is. We try to match you up with an advisor who can help you. And again, it's confidential and it's at no cost to you. Thank you very much, Victor. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, they're a great strategic partner. Oftentimes people come to us and they're just starting a business. Really, the SBDC is where you want to go for that. Or they'll come to us and they'll say, I need financing for my business. The SBDC is a great resource to help you in that area. And that's not an area in which we help businesses. So let's jump in today's presentation. So here's our agenda today. So first, I'm just talking about the proposal, some things to consider. And then I'm going to go live on these various websites: Cali Procure, which is the state of California's, the city of Fresno, city of Monterey, San Joaquin County, some final thoughts, and then Q&A. So save your questions for the end. With these government websites, when I go to them, basically I want to show you some things on them, and then you'll see basically how they're similar but different, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. So the purpose, what's the purpose of doing market research? Well, really the purpose is you want to understand who buys what you sell. And then, how do they buy what you sell? So it could be that they buy in much larger quantities than maybe that you can provide, or they might be buying in much smaller quantities than you think. It could be that they're buying through like in a consortium, or it could be that, they're buying things through what's called a micro purchase that I'll talk about later. So you want to understand how it is they buy the products or services that you sell. Then you want to understand is where do you fit in the supply chain? So it could be that you sell a product or service, but it could be that your government customer would never buy that directly from you. You would sell your product or service to another company who in turn has that contract with that government. So you need to kind of understand that. And then of course you want to know who are your competitors, who are they successful in selling to, etc. I'll show you a little bit On the state, you can actually see maybe who is selling to the state, so you can kind of get an understanding of that. But some of the information too is limited, but it still will help you out. So here's just some things to consider is terminology. I put that first because not all governments, whether it's the county or the state or the federal government, uses the same terminology. Great example is when you're looking at an opportunity online, the federal government will call an opportunity a solicitation. The state of California calls it a event. And then on the local level, they may call it just a bid opportunity, or they may just call it a request for proposal, request for quote, and not give it another name. But again, there's different terminology that's used. The other thing about terminology too, that's important is that you want to be sure that you understand the terminology that your prospective client uses, which may be different than yours. You know, in your industry, you might use certain terms, certain lingo, but the way the government buys, they may not use those same terms. So you want to make sure that you clearly understand that the terms that they use that apply to you, what they are, so that you're not missing any opportunities. The next thing is these commodity coding systems. Different governments use different coding systems to identify, say, either different industry groups or different commodities. So the NAICS code is the North American Industrial Classification System. That's the system that the federal government uses. So they assign a code for basically pretty much any kind of industry. They also use what are called federal supply codes, product service codes. This UNSPSC is United Nations Standard Products and Services Code, and that's the coding system that the state of California uses. And then lastly, this NIGP is the let me see if I get this right, National Institution of Government Purchasing. So a lot of the local governments, counties, cities, etc., across the United States use the NIGP coding system to identify the products or services that they purchase. This next bullet point is public works versus other procurements. So public works basically is when the government has a construction project, they want to build that. So they call that public works. And by law, typically there's posted information about that. The other things that the government buy, other procurements, I'm calling it, it's a little harder to find information on that. And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about as we jump on some of these websites. And then you have these, what I call third-party aggregators. So there's various ones that are out there: Planet Bids, OpenGov, Public Purchase, BidNet Direct. And basically what they are is they're companies that have an agreement with, say, a local government, that local government basically uploads their opportunities on, say, Planet Bid's websites, and it's through Planet Bid's website that you'll actually then be able to download the documents that you need to understand that the opportunity, and then actually submit your offer through Planet Bids that eventually gets to the local government. In most cases, there's no cost for you as the seller to use these systems. But in some cases there might. This last one, BidNet, that's on this list, is BidNet Direct. There is a fee to that. So it becomes a business decision for you of whether or not you want to subscribe to their services. Now with BidNet Direct, I'll just add that I know that some of the opportunities some of our clients are receiving through our BidMat system, they'll click on it and it'll take them to BidNet's direct website, and they'll realize that they need to pay a fee in order to see the documents they need to understand the opportunity. BidNet Direct says that basically you have to subscribe for a minimum of a year. I believe it's like $400. And then they do say that you can terminate your subscription at any time and get the rest of the money refund. So that's again your business decision of whether it makes sense for you or not. Capability statement. So I mentioned that earlier. Capability statement is oftentimes as you're trying to promote yourself to government buyers. It's a great way to present yourself to the government buyer. They may ask for that and say, hey, can you send me your capability statement? So we can help you put one together, give you examples of good ones that we have collected, and we have our clients have allowed us to share with other people. And then again, events. One thing about some of this market research that I'm going to be showing you here today is there's some good information there, but still you want to kind of get in front of anybody that can influence the process. As I mentioned earlier with public works versus other procurement, all these local governments definitely have information on their public works projects, but not so much on other procurements. By attending events and actually meeting somebody from their procurement department, you can ask questions about how do you buy these kinds of things? What do I need to do, etc. So events are really important. And then just networking in general. If you belong to, consider joining industry associations for the type of business that you're in. Look at perhaps maybe your chamber of commerce, those types of things. So network should be part of your basically marketing strategy to get in front of people that can help influence the process. So let me stop this share, and then I'm going to actually go to that website. I can find it. Here we are. So this website is Cal eProcure. They call it California State Government Marketplace, but it's referred to as Cal eProcure. And this is where the state of California basically has a lot of information on selling to the state and all the state agencies. One of the first things you want to do with this system is, if you want to sell to the various agencies with the state, is you want to first register here. In this, it says sell to the state. In there is where you basically will register. They'll ask you to enter, and there's a link there to enter your UNSPSC codes. One thing that once you register in their system, what their system will do is, based upon the information that you upload in your registration process, it'll email you opportunities that match the information that you put there. Entering lots of keywords that would apply to your business is the best way to get good results from their system. Excuse me. If you're a small business, or if you're a disabled veteran business enterprise, we highly suggest that you go here on this right quadrant and get your company certified, because the state, those are the only two set aside opportunities that they have. And in many cases, there's other benefits as well, as far as if you're a small business and you're competing against a large business, even though you may not have the lowest price, but if you're within a certain percentage of that lowest price, they'll award the contract to you, those types of things. Up here on these quick links, you can see here it says find bid opportunities. If you click there, let it do its magic. You can see here, this is just a list of all kinds of opportunities that the state of California has. Here's clearance and demolition services, fire system maintenance, one-time landscape cleanup, bi-weekly landscape maintenance, parking lot sweeping, landscape. There's just all kinds of stuff in here. You can do like an advanced search criteria here. And then kind of narrow it down to maybe your type of industry. As an example, you can put in your UNSP SC code here, or say your type of construction license, and it'll pull up opportunities for that match basically the search criteria that you put into it. One thing too that you can do is to maybe kind of identify maybe competition, etc., is find certified firms here. Or in some cases, as an example, we had a client that was looking at a state of California opportunity. In that opportunity, one of the requirements was that they had to subcontract a certain percentage of the work on the contract to a DVBE firm, Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise firm. So we directed them to this website. They were able to go here and actually identify a firm that they'd already previously done work with. They didn't know that they were certified, and they were able to meet that criteria actually fairly easily. One thing I want to show you is this one here. It says find past purchases. So this is kind of where you can really, shouldn't really ask for that. Oh, darn. Let me get out of that. Let me try it one more time. That's odd. There it is. So if you go here, what you want to do here is, of course, if you know say your competitor's name, you could enter it in here, but you could put in here advanced search criteria. And then again, what you can do is put in a UNSPSC code. And then when you click on this find thing, it'll pull it up here. One thing I can say about this system is it's somewhat slow, but when you do a search, and again, you can see that you could see here that you could put like a code, and then maybe you're only interested in say Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise who have this code, and then you can run the search. Sometimes it seems like the search isn't working, but what you'll see in the upper right-hand corner here, like a little flower that's spinning, knowing that it's working. I'm not going to go ahead and do it just because like it says, it's somewhat slow, but it'll pull it up and it'll give you a list. Like I said, if you just put in UNSP code, it'll give you a list of companies, and then you'll be able to see the dollar value of various contracts that they have. So with that, let me go to. And one thing I want to add is these websites that I'm showing you and some of these features, we can set up a Zoom call with you and walk you through these steps one-on-one, if you like. So this is the City of Fresno site. So if you go to business here, you can go scroll down here, and then it says starting a business, doing a business. So you can see here, there's different information like how to get a license and stuff like that. And one thing about just in general that you'll see while I'm doing this is just the fact that not all these websites are set up the same. And sometimes you got to be a little website savvy to kind of poke around and get to where you would need to get to find the information you're looking for. So doing business, this means doing business with the city. This is information on starting a business, but you can see here, anticipated formal bid award. You can click here, and then these are, they basically just need to be approved by their city council, but you can see that this American Paving Company more than likely isn't going to get this award, etc. Here is bid opportunities. And you can see on their case, they take you to Planet Bids, which I mentioned earlier. And then like they say here, it says create a new vendor record. So that's something that you'll want to do. And then bid opportunities with the city of Fresno, you click there and then you can see all these different opportunities. As you can see is they have a little of everything. Like here's Youth Service Corp. You can see this one, request for come on. I just saw it there. There it is. Request proposal requirements contract for cloud-based transit planning software, construction things, a lot of different things. Again, what you want to do though is sign up with Planet Bids. So that way you can then get to the documents that you need to then see the scope of work, all these other kinds of things, so that you can be able to submit your offer to them. But you can see here, there's a lot of different stuff here, and this list is just always changing. One thing too is when you sign up to Planet Bids, it will start sending you opportunities that match the profile that you create with them. So let me go back here. One thing I wanted to show you. Go back. On the city of Fresno, they have this actually really nice guide on how to do business with the city. So if a local government has something like this, take advantage of it, look at it, download it, understand it. You can see how to do business with the city of Fresno. And there's a lot of different things here. They talk about here on page 7, local preference. One of the things that a lot of the local governments have done as a way to kind of get around the fact that they can no longer set aside contract opportunities, say for women or minority businesses or women-owned businesses like they used to in the past, is they did come up with this idea of let's at least provide a local preference. So, and each local government defines what local means differently. So with the city of Fresno, you can see that it basically, if it's within the county of Fresno or 25-mile radius of the city hall of Fresno. But basically you can go on to read it, but it's a bid preference of 5%. So again, if you're a local business and you're bidding against somebody who isn't local, if your price is within 5% of a lower bidder, they're going to award it to you because you're local and they're not. What's something else? And you can see here, they kind of give you a list of typical things that they buy. And you can see they know this is not a complete list. So computer hardware, medical equipment, laboratory, casting, chemicals, professional services, lots of different things that they buy. And then, of course, they talk to you about different kinds of solicitations, construction, request for proposals, request for qualifications, etc. One thing I'll add just for the difference between RFPs and RFQs, typically RFQs, this is really driven by the lowest price typically wins. Request for proposals is in the proposals, you're kind of writing how you're going to do something for them. Price is important, but oftentimes the approach you're going to take to provide the service is what will set you apart from the competition. So now let me go to City of Monterey. So this is the City of Monterey. So you can see here's doing business. And over here is where they have their opportunities, bids and RFPs. So again, a lot of this information here is about business, but not really what you're looking for. Bids and RFPs. So here's where they have that. Again, what they'd like you to do is register vendor registration in this OpenGov procurement, which is again one of these third-party aggregators. It's free to do that. Once you register an OpenGov procurement, again, based upon the profile that you create in OpenGov, it'll send you opportunities that match the profile that you sent. But this is where you can find all the opportunities that they have that are coming up. The other thing is, though, typically what you're seeing in these are kind of like active opportunities, and you won't see anything kind of like a forecast of this is what we'll be buying, say 18 months down the road or a year from now. And that's why anytime there's an opportunity where you can attend an event or maybe try to set up an appointment with somebody from their department, then maybe you can get some inside information on kind of something that may be coming up in the future. Like I said, OpenGov is a nice one because again, it is free and it'll send you opportunities. You can see as I scroll down here, here's just some opportunities that they're showing. Somebody to operate the Monterey Sports Center Cafe. Here's some Camp Roberts, electrical diagnostics, plumbing repair, Old Town, a curb improvement project. You can see that the release date and then the due dates, when the actually offers are due. And it's not uncommon to you if you're looking at one of these that the due date may change. It may be extended for one reason or another. Now I want to take you to, where is it here? San Joaquin County. So this is San Joaquin County's website. So we've seen the states, they call them events. We looked at the city of Fresno, city of Monterey. So now with San Joaquin with business, you can see here, you look at business and really there's nothing here about contracting opportunities or anything like that with the county. But if you go over here to government, you'll see that you've got two things here. There's public works, which is construction. So there you're going to see opportunities, and then purchasing and support services is another area. So here you can see same thing, become a vendor, contract registration. So anytime that, they're asking you to register with them, you want to do that because oftentimes if it's a smaller opportunity, that's the first place that they're going to go looking for someone who sells what it is that they want to buy. As somebody that's already in their database. And then if you look here at open bids, you can see right here that right now they don't have a lot as far as just general products and services that they buy. But you can see here that parenting program services, PeopleSoft managed services, La Familia, what is this? Health Service Department for La Familia. So I guess if you're from San Joaquin County, you know what Familia is, some type of program that they have to help people out. But you can see, again, they're using this third-party aggregator to manage the process of posting the opportunity, accepting the offers, those types of things. You can see because it's so common and people may end up at the wrong place. They put here other bid opportunities and here's Public Works. So this is you see, so they're using what they're calling Bid Express here. And then view our current bid opportunities here. That's what I'm saying about being a little kind of web savvy is, you know, all these websites have the information you're looking for, but they're different. So you can need to be able to poke around to see, figure out what it is you want. But you can see here that they've got just Public Works. They've got 206 that are in there currently. Again, this is all construction stuff. So if you're construction, you know, you want to be looking at this. I'm not as familiar with the platform that they're using. So as an example, if you register in their system, is their system going to just email you directly any kind of opportunities that match the vendor profile you set up? Ideally, it will. It seems like everybody's moving in that direction. So that's a good thing. If not, then what you want to do is have somebody within your office look at this almost on a daily basis to see what's new from the day before that you may have an interest in. Okay, with that, let me jump back to my PowerPoint. I've got USA spending on this slide. So the reason why is just that, you know, the federal government does a really good job as far as like on USA spending, you can put in the name of a company or a NAICS code to identify an industry, and it'll show you all the purchases the government has made in the past. So you can identify which agencies are buying the products and services you sell, which companies are making those sales, the dollar value, those transactions, etc. Unfortunately, other than the state of California, these other local ones that I just showed you don't have that kind of information. It's expensive to do it, so basically it's just not feasible at the local level for them to kind of have kind of the same thing. So things to remember. So just kind of what I was just saying, past contract information is limited. So again, you can find it with the state on that one link. And we actually have put together a guide that we could send you. And if you have trouble using the guide, again, we can set up a Zoom meeting and work with you and kind of show you how to use it. But at the state and local level, it's the past contract information. It's going to be pretty limited. I mean, you did see on the city of Fresno, those pending awards, so you kind of have some information there. But as far as going back for say the last year to see who's your competition and those kinds of things, it's just not as readily available. This next one, micro purchases and credit cards. All governments from the federal government all the way down is that the government buys a tremendous amount of goods and services. They call them micro purchases. They may give it a different name, but basically they use a government issued credit card to buy smaller quantities of things. So if you think of, and it'll vary. But it could be that anything under $25,000, somebody's just going to use a credit card. They're not going to actually put out a request for proposal, request for quote. They're just going to go probably find and get 3 bids for that item. And then whoever's the lowest, they're going to go ahead and purchase it. Or they may just go online and find your store online and buy something like that from you. But it's a couple things. It's a great way to kind of get your foot into the door. The micro purchases might help you to like start with them, develop that relationship from those smaller purchases, it could lead up to bigger purchases. Remember again that, there's various systems out there. We kind of saw some of them. We have the Planet Bids, what was the other one? The Open Gov Procurement, Public Purchase. They're all similar, but going to be slightly different. Again, most of them are going to be free to you to use. Basically, what it is that the government entity has paid that company so that it makes it easier for them to utilize these third-party aggregators versus them developing a system in-house that then they would have to then have IT people to constantly maintain it. So it's just easier for them to use somebody else. Register in their systems. In some cases, they're going to actually have you register on their website. In other cases, they're going to have you register on one of these third-party aggregators systems, but you want to register in their systems. Again, most of these systems, once you register and set up your profile, it's going to start emailing you opportunities as well. Again, target low-hanging fruit. So meaning, your best opportunity may be, the town or the county where you're physically located at. So take advantage of that. I know a lot of clients have come to us, and the first thing they want to do is sell to the federal government. And some cases that may work. It could be that where they're physically located, they're close to the Sierra, maybe the Forest Service has a construction contract that fits right in their wheelhouse, and that works for them. But for many people, it's like you need to start small and then grow your revenues. And so makes it easier for you to sell your capabilities by being able to say, I've sold to this entity, and that entity in the past. Here's some other takeaways. Past performance. The biggest thing that any customer wants to see is your past performance. Who have you sold your products or service to in the past? And it's okay if you've sold your products or services to the private sector. Now you want to sell it to someone in the public sector, but that's what you really need to be working on, is the fact that you've done this kind of work before, you have satisfied customers, and you can do the job that a local government might have. Certifications. One of the things is that people have this sense that because they qualify to be, say, a woman-owned business or a veteran-owned business, that somehow that's going to get them sales. Past performance, again, is the most important evaluation factor that they're going to look at. The certifications help. If you have the past performances, the certifications can help a lot. But without the past performance, the certification really is not going to do you much. So that thing is important. And again, we'll talk to you about certifications, because certifications are used more in some industries than others. So really, oftentimes when you're actually looking at these opportunities, you'll be able to see a pattern of which types of contracts are being set aside for various socioeconomic groups. And if you see that they're not being set aside for a socioeconomic group that you're a participant in, then the likelihood of it happening in the future is very limited. I put Caltrans here because Caltrans actually has a really good website. If you're in construction, especially kind of like road, highway, bridge type construction, Caltrans has a great website that has a lot of information. When they have the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, so does a lot of these other local governments. If they're receiving federal funds, then from the U.S. Department of Transportation, they have to meet DBE requirements. The way it kind of works is the local government will hire a prime contractor, and then it's the prime contractor's responsibility to meet the DBE goals that have been assigned to that project. If you go on Caltrans website, they'll show projects that are coming up, and they'll show you as an example if it has a DBE goal or not, as well as you'll see companies there that are interested in bidding on it, so you can contact them and say, hey, I'd like to you to be consider us as a subcontractor on the project that you're looking at. Preference programs, again, remember that most of all these governments do have these local preference programs, so you want to kind of look at those, understand those, etc. I know like City of Salinas, where we're located, their local preference basically is considered, if you're from Santa Cruz, Monterey, or San Benito County, they consider that local. But it varies, as you saw with like City of Fresno. In some cases, you're seeing some preference programs for some of the other socioeconomic groups. So if you are certified as a, say, a woman-owned, minority-owned, or LGBTQ, some local governments do have preference programs for that. Again, they won't set aside a contract, but they'll have a preference program for that. As I mentioned earlier, network. Just be out there meeting people, talking about your capabilities, your past performance, those types of things. That'll just help you find opportunities. And then, as you heard me say a couple times in the presentation, just be web savvy, because you saw as you go to these websites, the information sometimes just doesn't jump out as to where it is. But if you poke around, it's there. And if you have trouble, just contact them directly and say, hey, I'm interested. This is what I do. I didn't see anything on your website. Who is it that I need to talk to, etc. So be willing to do that. One last thing is paralysis by analysis. You can spend a lot of time doing market research to the point where you're just constantly doing that. But you need to kind of basically, again, find that low-hanging fruit, find some opportunities, and start submitting some offers. One of the things I didn't mention is that when you are on Cal eProcure's website, the state of California's website, one of those quadrants, there's 4 on that page. They have resources. It's the bottom right. You click on there and you go down a list. It says, I think it's called Small Business Advisors. But basically what it is you can then open up an Excel spreadsheet, and it'll list all the state agencies and then a name, address, email, phone number of a contact that is the small business liaison for that agency. So you can contact them, talk to them about your business, their opportunities, those types of things. Market research companies. There are companies out there that do a lot of this kind of stuff. The good ones are really expensive. Basically, they start out at $10,000 a year and kind of go on up. If they're less than that, one thing we basically I kind of tell people is, if you see something like this, check with us to see whether the company is legit or not. That's the last bullet point, is watch for scams. You'll go online, or people will find your information once you register in some of these systems, and they'll send you emails saying, oh, we can provide you with all these leads and all this, things like that. Most cases they're scams. They just want you to pay them whatever they can squeeze out of you, from a few $100s to a few $1,000s. The reality is again, most of them they're just scams to take your money. Like I said, there are some really good ones out there. I can think of like GovSpend and Deltek, but again, they're not cheap. They're the kind of companies like Lockheed Martins, the Boeings, the Northrop Grumman's use those guys on a regular basis. So with that, I'll take any questions that you have. As again, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the presentation, you'll receive a copy of these slides. There's not a lot to them, but also you'll have a link to the recording so that you can kind of go back through it, see some of those sites. Again, I just showed you a few, City of Fresno, Monterey, San Joaquin County, depending on where you're at. I suggest going to those local, say if you're in Merced or Monteca or anywhere like that, check with them. You know, smaller cities, they're not going to have larger departments, etc. But just find out how they buy things. Righty, so I'm not seeing any questions. You can put them in the Q&A. Well, I'm not seeing any questions. Like I said, if you want help with any of this, set up an appointment with your counselor and then they can kind of walk you through some of these websites, especially that Cal eProcure one. But there's some good information in there, but it just kind of takes a little bit. And then again, we do have a guide that we can send you as far as looking at past sales that the state of California has had with vendors. The other thing too is if you're having trouble finding that Excel spreadsheet for all the they call them small business advocates with the state of California. That's the term that they use. Oops. Oops, I'm losing it. Thought we had a question there. All right. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any questions. So again, if you do have any follow-up questions, just either reach out here to us at this address you're seeing on the screen or reach out to one of your counselors and we'd be more than happy to help you. So thank you very much. And then we'll see you next time.